Welcome to the Holistic Success Show. I'm Elizabeth Capoletti.
And I'm Dr. Robert Puff. Today we're going to have an expert on meditation.
Dr. Puff is going to be talking to us about the effects of pleasure and pain, as well as how to always use loving words with others.
And a question from you about when to tell it's time to stop dating someone.
Our other question is about how to encourage healthy eating with your loved ones without affecting their self-esteem. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show.
As we go through life, we have painful experiences and we have pleasurable experiences. What can happen to us, though, is the pleasurable experiences tend to put us asleep, and the painful experiences tend to wake us up if we feel them. And what I mean is, when something tragic hits, it has that ability to kind of shock us and say, okay, what is life all about? Why am I here? What am I to do with my life? When it's pleasurable, there's a sense of just coasting through life, not caring, not growing, and just kind of having fun, but not really doing much with your life or doing much with other people. And to illustrate that, let me give you an extreme example. A heroin addict is experiencing a lot of pleasure. I mean, heroin is a very intense drug. It makes people feel extremely high. But that same person, because they are asleep, because they're having just pleasure through their drug, they're asleep, they're able to prostitute themselves. They may be sleeping on the street, sleeping in their own feces, and their lives are miserable, and they don't grow, they don't change because they're experiencing pleasure. Their pleasure has put them asleep to their own pain. Now the reverse of that is someone who's often had a lot of tragedy. You will often find them the most deep people you're ever going to meet. Deep spiritual people, deep psychologically growth-oriented people, typically, maybe not always, but typically come from tragedy. They have had challenging childhood experiences that they've had to overcome, and that pain pushes them to grow. So that's what I mean by pain tends to wake you up and pleasure tends to put you to sleep. We don't tend to grow when things are just coasting along. You know, if every day after a day of work you come home and have, you know, several glasses of wine, some beer on the weekends, you get together with your friends and drink or do things that just, it's all about, I just want to have fun, I want to eat what I eat, I want to eat, you know, high-fat food, and you're doing these things that just make you feel good, there isn't a sense of growth. When something is painful, like if my back hurts, instead of numbing it through pain medication, I say, I'm going to go to a good chiropractor and fix this. If I have headache, I'm going to change my diet so I can fix this. What happens is pain has the potential, as long as you feel it, and work towards remedying it, understanding what it is and not numbing it, it tends to help you grow. It tends to help you move forward in your life. And Elizabeth and I believe that's why we're here. We are here to grow. We're here to love each other, love ourselves throughout life. So what you could perhaps do is when that painful experience comes, perhaps right now you can't find work, perhaps right now you have a serious disorder, physical disorder, see it as an opportunity for growth and grow. Peace.
Our first question this week is from Gabriella in Rome, Italy. My boyfriend and I have been seeing each other for 1 year now, and he doesn't pay any attention to me anymore. Do you think he's over me?
Gabriella, I want to talk about healthy relationships in general because I think it will be applicable to your situation. In a healthy relationship, for two people to be in love and stay in love, there does need to be that sense of, I'm interested in you, I want to spend time with you, you are an important priority of my life. And even if you don't feel like it, that needs to be sustained because that's what will keep it healthy. It's like not wanting to work out and then not working out versus not wanting to work out but working out. Doing the actions is what matters. So in a relationship, you do want them into you and staying into you throughout your life. So if you end up marrying this person, whoever you marry, that they can sustain it throughout the marriage because it requires that. Healthy relationships take work, they take maintenance, they take that investment in time. But the flip thing to also look at is you. You want to make sure that you are actually only attracted towards someone who's very invested in having a healthy, loving relationship with you. You don't want to be with someone that you become like, third or fourth level in their life. You want to be one of the most important things in their life, because if they become important to you and you can sustain that, that will maintain a healthy relationship. So only go with men that really can be into you and that you feel can sustain that for years and years to come.
I think it's really hard for us to answer that question with a yes or no answer in regards to is he over me, because I don't know everything that's going on within the picture, but I do know that it's important for you to value yourself enough to know and to be able to say, I'm not really comfortable with the way things are right now, and I feel like you're not paying enough attention to me, and perhaps in our relationship before this was going on and now there's been a big shift. What do you feel? And depending on what he says or what his actions are after that, that will kind of tell you a lot. But don't be afraid to speak up. I know within different cultures there's different things and us speaking our mind, but ultimately what it comes down to is when we don't talk about how we feel, we end up silently suffering, perhaps staying in a relationship longer than we should have, and we're miserable, we're unhappy. Sometimes when people start a relationship, it can be very addictive, so they're like with that person all the time, and then after kind of the dust settles, they kind of just get back into their everyday life and they stop making that relationship a priority, which is a very common thing that happens. You can see it in a lot of marriages even. And if this is something that, perhaps your partner is just used to that, maybe he doesn't even realize that he's doing that. So I would encourage you to talk to him and tell him how you're feeling. And then from there, you can kind of make that judgment based on, is he paying attention to what I'm saying? I hear the words coming out of his mouth, but what are his actions?
I think what we both are saying, and tell me if you agree with me, that relationships take work. Mm-hmm. You have to work at the relationship. If you don't
communicate.
And I think so often people go back to what their set point is, what they're used to. And if you're not used to a healthy relationship, you may have to change the behavior inside yourself to be in a healthy relationship. I mean, it'd be like with exercise. If you're not used to exercising, to be healthy, you need to exercise. To be in a healthy relationship, you need to have certain things in place. If they're not used to that, then they need to work towards, like you were saying, change. Maybe going to a retreat or learning how to be in a healthy relationship.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And sometimes it can be both and. Maybe we're used to being with somebody all the time. That could be kind of an unhealthy thing. And it's important to have a balance. But I encourage you to talk to him and know that you are special and you matter. And it's important for you to be with somebody who treats you the way that you need to be treated. Thank you for your question.
Stem cells play a vital role in our body's ability to heal, but become less effective as we get older. StemKine is a daily supplement that has been clinically proven to increase stem cell circulation. Research has shown that circulating stem cells boost our ability to prevent or recover from injury, disease, or chronic conditions. Your stem cells can help you repair, restore, and regenerate. StemKine is an all-natural supplement proven to enhance your stem cells' activity and thereby improve your health.
Clonia cava. This superfood from the ocean antioxidant force is much greater than anything grown on land. Humic nutrients. Considered the essence of life, it's what helps plants grow naturally, has been shown to have incredible potential immune-enhancing properties. Aloe vera has been used for health and medicinal purposes. With 75 nutritional components, this unique lily plant is one of the most efficient delivery systems of nutrients into the bloodstream.
Our guest today is Damian Vaughn. He's a meditation expert, performance coach, and inspirational speaker, and he's here today to discuss the benefits of meditation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Really excited. Thank you.
So I think it's a really interesting path of how you got on the road of meditation. Would you mind sharing with us your background and how you got started?
Yeah, I was a football player in a former life. I was a college football player, then a professional football player. And early on in my college career, I had my first experience of really being in the zone. You know, that state where you're just totally in flow. You're absorbed into whatever it is you're doing.
Which is great you're saying that, because we always talk about that on the show, and here we
Yeah.
have somebody who is a professional athlete and is telling you about that.
Yeah, well, that's one of the amazing things about sports, is that it gives you that opportunity just in real time, in a really condensed amount of time, to experience what that flow is like. And so I had that experience, and I just remember being totally, like, I had this boundless sense of energy, and I literally felt like I couldn't exhaust myself. I would try to exhaust myself, and I couldn't. So it was like a fire that wouldn't go out. And I remember time stood still at moments, and I was doing things physically that was beyond my norm, you know. And so, and another interesting thing about it was that after the game, typically up until that point, I'd feel exhausted. So I would, you know, I'd want to go into a slumber. I would just feel kind of heavy and exhausted. But after that game, I felt light. I actually felt more refreshed. So being just totally fascinated by that, combined with the fact that I just played really well, I wanted to learn more. And so I was fortunate to have this mentor, my aunt. She was my godmother. I'm half Brazilian. And she happens to be a professor of psychology and a spiritual teacher, a meditation teacher. So I asked her what this phenomenon was like and what it was all about, and she explained it to me. And so I wanted to naturally understand more. I was like, well, I want to do this again, so what do I need to do? And she said, well, Damien, you know, there's nothing you can willfully do to recreate that. I'm sorry. So naturally I was kind of felt deflated, like my stomach dropped. I'm like, oh. And she said, well, you know, because it's accidental in nature than anything else. So there's nothing you can willfully do. However, there are things that you can do to become more prone to these kinds of accidents. And the most powerful thing is meditation. So it was at that moment that I really, you know, started to understand it. She taught me, and I really practiced. And over the years, you know, my practice has evolved. At first it was about performance enhancement, but it has evolved a lot over the years in terms of, you know, how things change. But yeah, it was really about connecting and having this really amazing peak experience.
So was it a little bit difficult at first? Because I think some people expect themselves to jump in and be right at that place again. And I think there was so much wisdom with what your aunt said. It's not just like you can't just produce that right away. It kind of just comes naturally. So can you talk a little bit about your journey and what you teach in regards to meditation?
Yeah, well, flow in many different aspects of life, particularly in performance, is this delicate balance between, you know, preparation and having a clear vision of what it is that you want, but then also being willing to let go. You know, so when you're really prepared, you can then trust that in the moment you have what it takes. The universe will work together with you. So flow to me, you know, in the sense of performance, but also in the life scale, is about that delicate balance between being clear about your vision, you know, that big, bold, beautiful dream of who you are, what you want, what your contribution is, but then also being willing to let it go. And really just
That's hard at first though, isn't it?
It is totally hard, because when you're feeling, it's interesting because when you feel like that motivation comes from a sense of lack, like I feel like I don't have enough of this, then, you know, you actually resist that very thing that you want the most. So trust is so important, and just being able to surrender into the moment, because when you have prepared, you have what it takes, you have the ability, and you're able to trust that you can access those creative and intuitive impulses to perform and do what it is you need to do.
And don't you think when we're so focused on trying to control the outcome of what we really want, we miss so many opportunities?
Oh my gosh, you see it all the time, you know, and this kind of workaholic mindset too, which is prevalent in professional sports as well as, you know, any profession, any aspect of life. You know, it's that thing that you want to push. You'll go through a brick wall, and you'll sacrifice your own health and of course anyone else around you to get what it is that you want. But when you're totally you know, when you have that ability to be present from moment to moment to moment, you know, you recognize that there's going to be coincidences along the way. There's going to be doorways that open for you that you otherwise wouldn't have seen. And you're able to find that, you know, path of least resistance. And actually, in some cases, much quicker can you get to that destination.
Yeah, most definitely. So what is some advice that you typically give people that you work with?
Well, it's the fundamental, I guess, objective is just to cultivate more flow. So it's actually letting go of the destination, right? We often talk about it's about the journey and not the destination. So flow, the more flow that we experience in life, the happier we are, the healthier we are, the more energized we are, and the more successful we feel. So regardless of what path we take, what role we play, it's the more we can cultivate flow in our life, the better off we'll be.
And I know that you are you feel strongly that everybody should meditate. And it's to me, it's a clear answer that the two tie in together, the being able to let it flow. But can you talk about why you feel it's important for people to meditate?
Well, I really do. I think that there's not a single person on this planet that couldn't benefit from some form. And there are many, many, many different forms of meditation, as there are many different types of people. But there's no better tool to help you become more connected with that deeper part of who you are, so that you can bring it out into the world, to express yourself, the most authentic version of yourself.
Because we do let a lot of things get in the way of us being our authentic self. We worry about what other people are thinking, about this, about that, what I'm supposed to do. I always joke with people and they say I should, and I say stop shoulding all over yourself, because we do that, and then that gets in the way of us being who we really are.
Yeah, absolutely. And it starts with that clarity, that clarity of having answers to those questions. Who am I? What do I want? What is my higher purpose? How can I contribute? How can I be of service? And when you are asking those questions, answers come. And the more clarity you have in those answers, the more your thoughts, your actions can be in alignment with who you really are, as opposed to having the thoughts and actions that aren't in alignment, with who you are. So you get stuck in a rut and not living authentically.
Well, I know that you help people in how to live more authentically and get out of those ruts. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Without question, the best way is through our website. We've tried to do a good job of making a lot of information available. We have a blog that's constantly updated with upcoming events and just things that we're up to. So the website is the best, and that's vaughncenter.com, spelled VAUGHN center.com. And then you can also find me on Twitter. I'm always, Twittering and Facebooking. So under Vaughn Center on Facebook, or also my name on Facebook, Damian Vaughn, and Twitter is the same. It's my name, Damian Vaughn.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on our show and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Not feeling the way you want to feel? Isolated? Worried? Frustrated? Or is your child struggling? There are lots of labels. Our body is a system. It can affect our feelings. Sometimes you need a little help to understand what is happening, to make a plan for improvement, to take control of your body and mind. Insightful Minds, psychiatry for children, adults, and families. Call us for an appointment or go to insightfulminds.org.
Are you frustrated at work, feeling overwhelmed and disconnected, losing all hope? What if you could see things differently? Learn how to shift your focus and see that the keys to success are truly in your hands. Learn how to work as a team again and love your job, ultimately finding the success you're looking for. Success beyond your imagination, available at www.holistichealth.tv.
There are hundreds of interventions that claim to help children with autism around the world, but only one is proven to be effective. Pacific Child provides state-of-the-art and evidence-based techniques known as applied behavior analysis. Pacific Child is a leading ABA agency providing services to children and adults with autism. Our high-quality team approaches their work with dedication, caring, and respect. Pacific Child, making a world of difference.
As we go through life, sometimes we have negative encounters with other people. They hurt us, we hurt them. When we're younger, often it's physical, and you'll hear a child say, well, he hit me first, that's why I hit them back. And that's what children do. But unfortunately, sometimes as we get older, we get stuck there. We keep doing that. So when someone hurts us, we hurt them back. And one of the premises that we try to teach here is be kind towards people, be loving towards people. When they hurt you, don't hurt them back. But the knee-jerk response is, I want to hurt them. They hurt me, I want to hurt them. And first, let me explain why it's important not to do that. In my course of working with people for almost 25 years now, I have found that the most miserable, unhappy people I've ever met are people that are very vengeful. They are just very unhappy people. When you are an eye for an eye, and that's your premise in life, you are going to be an unhappy person. And test me on that one. Go out and talk to someone who you know is very vengeful. If you mess with them, they're going to mess with you back, perhaps even harder, and see how happy they are. Ask you, would you want to change lives with them? I think what you'll find is you won't. Now, if you take the path of, okay, Dr. Puff, I don't want to hurt people back, but when they hurt me, I don't know what to do. I want to give you a really simple technique for how to respond to someone when they hurt you. And I already gave you a clue. It's the word respond. What we tend to do is react, knee-jerk. They hurt me, they say something mean to me, I say something mean back to them. Instead, when someone says something mean to you, pause. You're going to feel the feelings. It's all going to be there. But pause. And what can happen during that pause is then you can reflect on, okay, yes, I feel like hurting them back, but is that the best choice? Perhaps I could put a boundary. Perhaps I can walk away. Perhaps I can talk to them about it. They may not even know that they hurt us. It was a misunderstanding. But when you pause and don't say something immediately back, what happens is you'll lose that tendency to hurt someone after they've hurt you. Because often when someone hurts us, we want to hurt them back. And what happens is with interactions is they're hurting you in the first place because they thought you hurt them. So it's like eye for an eye. I remember when I was in Lebanon years ago, the war had been going on there for 1,000 years, and the Jews and the Muslims and the Christians were all saying, well, they killed my brother, they killed my uncle, they killed my father, and everyone just kept saying that, and it had been going on for 1,000 years. So hatred can just go on forever and ever and ever. Instead, if you take the stance, yes, I'm not going to let you abuse me, but I'm not going to hurt you back. The key there then is to pause. Just pause when someone says something, and then choose to respond back appropriately. That pause is a key. That will help you not hurt others, thus improving your own sense of happiness and well-being. Peace.
Our second question this week is from Rose in Santa Barbara, California. My daughter is 14, has begun to eat a lot, and is gaining weight. How do I encourage her to eat less without harming her self-esteem?
Rose, I'm proud of you because you already get the point that her self-esteem matters, that the way you address her in regards to her weight will have an impact on how she feels about herself, and you care about that. I'm really proud of you for that. So let me give you some ideas of how you could help her with her weight without negatively affecting her self-esteem. The first thing is make sure at home that there are only healthy food choices. Don't be having the junk food that so many teenagers eat and puts on weight for them. Make sure there's only healthy food. And when she goes out, if she eats out much, make sure you go to restaurants that have healthy food choices only. There are really good restaurants to eat at and some that aren't very healthy for you. So choose good ones. And when she's going to school, maybe if the lunches at school aren't very healthy, make her lunch for her so she can, again, only have good choices. The second thing is, on the weekends or when you're with her, be active. Be an active family. Get out there, do things, ride bikes on the weekend, go for walks, play tennis, swimming. Be involved with things with her so that she knows that instead of just being sedentary on the weekends, that you as a family are an active family, and that together, through those activities, that will help her to eat well, make good choices, and lose weight. What are your thoughts, Elizabeth?
Those were so many good points that you made. I also think modeling is really important. So watch what you're eating, watch what her father is eating or your husband. I don't know if it's a blended family or what's going on there. And with your other kids too, I think what you had said about what the food that you have in your house, that's really important because she is 14, she's growing, her body's changing, her hormones are changing. You're a woman and certain times in the month you kind of want to eat everything, but have good choices for her. There are some sweet things that you can have that actually aren't bad for you. And so it's okay for her to eat those things. But I also want to touch on the whole self-esteem thing because I know for me at 14 years old, some stuff happened with me and I was really affected by it, and I struggled with body image for a really, really long time, had to go through a lot of therapy to work on it. So she is at a very fragile state. So you do want to be careful, and I wouldn't mention anything about like, oh, you're gaining weight. Make sure nobody else says those things because it really will have a negative impact on her. So if you make it more about a family making a change, just, I'd like to create a change for the whole family, take the focus off of her, that will help. And I know maybe she might not like to do active things on the weekends, but if if you guys slowly start to do it and reward her for doing those things, maybe she wants something new or a new outfit or whatever she's interested in, it could be books, whatever it is, reward her for that. So we're going to go out as a family. It's good for you guys emotionally, it's good for you physically, in every single way.
I really like what you said about modeling. I actually think that's probably the most important thing as a parent, is what you model. And if you model healthy behavior, practice what you preach. If you want your daughter to be healthy, because most likely she's going to turn out like you and your husband. So take care of yourself. Show her how to eat well. My kids eat a lot like me because this is the way I eat. My wife and I eat very similar. And I think if you eat well, if you exercise, they're going to pretty much do the same thing.
And also make sure you're not too obsessed with your weight either, because that can cause her to feel that way. And also depression and anxiety can cause us to eat more. So whether it's because she's growing or because she's maybe struggling with some stuff, that might be a causative factor as well. And doing the exercise on the weekend, exercise helps tremendously with that, but you may connect more with her so she can open up with you and talk to you. And if you don't find that she does and you see it's a continuing problem, get her some help. Take her to a therapist or somebody to talk to. Thank you so much for your question. Are you or someone you love struggling with depression, anger, or anxiety? Have you suffered a loss, or are you struggling to keep your relationship alive? Do you have a child or a teen who needs help? You don't have to face it alone. We are here to help you create the change you need in your life to be happy again. Visit us at www.ocmentalhealthexperts.com for more information. Tranquility and peace. Find freedom and relaxation no matter where you are or who you're with. Be still, be free. Meditation for Health and Happiness, available at www.holistichealth.tv.
Co-hosts of the Holistic Success Show, Dr. Puff and Elizabeth Lozano, M.A., want to teach you how to live a meditative life. Learn to still your mind, diminish negative thinking, experience peace and bliss, and be 100% present in the moment. Retreats provide a unique opportunity to learn new skills, meet new people, and interact with Elizabeth Lozano and Dr. Puff. For information or reservations for upcoming retreats, please visit holisticretreats.tv. Expand your capacity for joyful living today.
Our quote this week is by Mark Twain. Keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that, but the really great can make you feel that you too can become great. It's amazing how insecure people can make us feel that way too. So believe in yourself and go for it. Thank you for joining us on the Holistic Success Show. If you'd like to learn more about meditation for free, please listen to our Meditation for Health podcast on our website and iTunes.
And if you'd like to learn more about our books and CDs, please visit our bookstore at our website.
And a special thank you to Jean Marie Boutique in Laguna Beach, California for my fashions today. Thank you so much. Enjoy the week.